Hi there, live from our studios here at the Platinum Place. This is GHOne Newsroom. The headlines this morning. Lead counsel for Embattled former NSP boss Samuel Atta Akyea hence classified details could be key to clan's defense.
In areas of national security, and when push to come to shove, he has to defend himself.
Also coming up, government intensifies clampdown on illegal mining activities with 208 arrests and 99 excavators seized nationwide. Is this the breakthrough in a poorly rated fight? We find out shortly. And business president Mahama eyes solar expansion as he raises alarm over Ghana's low renewable energy share. Later in sports, Nations FC player slams GFA over 500 Ghana cedi fine for religious message display, questioning motive behind sanction. And on the international front, Israeli strikes in northern Gaza killed at least 48. The details of these stories and many others coming up shortly in the next 60 minutes. To stay with us. Welcome once again to the 60 minutes broadcast on Newsroom. My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Lead counsel for former National Signals Bureau boss Samuel Atta Akyea has signaled that his clients may be compelled to reveal classified national security information to mount full defense. Speaking to reporters outside a courtroom on May 13, 2025, the counsel insisted the defense will not hold back if critical evidence is being suppressed.
It was unfortunate that it leaked, because the letter was intended for the National Security Coordinator, in which he was trying to let him know that where he is, national security matters are being raised. And he should come to terms with it. That's what he was trying to do. He was not saying that he's afraid to defend himself, but he's saying that they are pushing him in areas of national security, and when push to come to shove, he has to defend himself. And national security will not come to your aid, so you go to jail. That would be unfortunate. It will be a tragedy that cannot be calculated. So that was the intent of the letter. The letter was not supposed to come into the public domain. He wrote to the coordinator, the successor national security coordinator.
That is lead counsel for Kwabena Dubois, the former Director General of the National Signals Bureau. But we have been joined by security analyst Emmanuel on this particular development. Emmanuel, many thanks for your time this morning. Let's begin off with the leak that Samuel Atta Akyea raised initially concerning the letter to the National Security Coordinator. What do you make of his initial assertion about the leak, how it found its way into public space?
But thank you for having me, and very good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners across the world. In fact, I think the lead counsel is trying to blackmail our judicial system. There are clear rules of engagement, especially for his clients. The challenge in Ghana is that we don't take such clear rules of engagement seriously. And I think it's about time as a country we have career security operatives or national security operatives and remove the nuances of politics. What we are saying here is the nuances of politics. This gentleman, I understand, per his letter of engagement, he has some level of immunity. But that immunity does not cover entirely when it comes to financial misappropriation. And don't forget, Akyea has been a cabinet minister in this country before, and he understands the nuances of national security operations. And we are at a crossroad now. The interest of the state versus the freedom of an individual. That is why I found that leak very problematic. If it was a private conversation between his client and that of the National Security Coordinator, how did it get to the public domain? For what purpose and to what effect? You see that they are fighting back now that if they are put to shove, they may be compelled to expose many other national security in their, issues in their defense. But truth be told, I am right and I know Akyea is aware that there are consequences when they begin to expose national security operation in the name of the defense of his clients. So the posture he's going, I personally, as a security operative, don't think he's helping his clients. I don't also believe that because of national security operation in quotes, we shouldn't hold people accountable. That is not how we build institutions, and that is not even how national security institutions across the world operate. Let me tell you, in many advanced countries, because of the covert operations of critical institutions like national security, they lead with the highest integrity. But in our part of the world, it's not like that. When the NPP lost power, go to national security and see, from coordinator and many other senior officers have been changed. So to me, in our part of the world, we are not practicing democracy, but we are doing politics with our national security architecture as a whole. And to me, the league was quite unfortunate and unprofessional, and it's not in tandem with the training of a senior high security operative than the Director General of the Signal Bureau Operations.
Manokoti, finally, the threat of revealing national security details in defense of his clients. We've already seen one leak. Does it augur well for our nation if something like this should happen? I mean, for those who have interest in national security matters and even want to support our architecture, if you're having a former Director General have to go through this, what implications are there?
You see, we have to stop prosecuting people in public opinion. So we must learn to hold such documents in confidentiality. Second, I think the threats are empty threats at best, because the venerable Atta knows that exposing such classified documents come with consequences. So he has to tread cautiously and do the balancing. But here is the case, my brother. National security operatives are immune from certain prosecutions. Is it the case that there should be a blanket check that because you are immune, you can go about and do as you wish? Some of us have called that in many jurisdictions where our democratic institutions work, national security institutions should be the first institution that should be accountable to their citizens, because of the many powerful tools they have in their hands. I'm told that some of the equipment they got prior to elections, they were using same to spy on their political opponents. That goes against the rights of such citizens, because those misapplications of these tools doesn't also augur well. So to me, I think national security needs some kind of restructuring. We remove political nuances and get professionals, career national security operatives, so that we can have institutional memory, so that some of these things don't recur. So you see that the prosecution of the gentleman is viewed as a political prosecution. Why should that be the case? Why should a national security operative wear political lenses? So these are the things we have been talking about over the period. Now you see that it is right before us. So the earlier we bring reforms to remove these nuances, the better for the country.
Emmanuel, thank you so much for speaking with us here on Newsroom. He is a security analyst. Many of you have wondered, every time we read the news, we ask for people to share their social media comments with us. But how best you connect with us? This is how you do that.
Well, Emmanuel, thank you very much for that. So many people had a lot to say with regard to this issue. Should the lawyer give the information out or not? When we go to X, which is where we are staying, Fosu says, whatever Adubuahene has got to say, I'm interested. He should spill it. He can't hide behind classified information to swerve accountability. That said, if it's against the law to spill classified information, AG should kindly update his charge sheet. Adios. Then we have here, it's a house of cards and Adubuahene is about to burn it all to the ground. Lawyer Atta will be prolonging the legal proceedings until Adubuahene ends up at Nsawam. So advise your clients to return 80% of the allegedly misappropriated funds to resolve this matter amicably. Where is the allegedly stolen money? We also have Oscar. You people can't blackmail any Ghanaians. Your Kwabena Adubuahene is being prosecuted for a specific crime. Whoever he shared his loot with is not our business. Truth is that his lawyer is not helping his case. You are gradually leading him to prison. That's from Oscar. We also have Kakari. If the Adubuahene guy wants to mention names of those he spent the said stolen amount with, he should do so and stop this kind of childish games he and his lawyer are trying to deploy. We also have Timothy. I find the defense strategy in the Adubuahene case strange, though, asking, why would a confrontation approach be better? Again saying, particularly when the phase of trial is yet to begin and one may not appreciably know the evidence the prosecution has. Cyrus adds to the conversation, hey, but that man, he knows the law, bro. Adubuahene case will be a foolish case. Cra. So that is what you had to tell us. Will it turn out to be a foolish case or will it follow the law? Let's see what will happen moving forward. By all means, we will give you all the information up to date as and when it comes. My name is Nanama Akyea. Back over to you.
Right. Yes, she said, Nanama, we would bring you up to speed on all the information and details from courts. Legal affairs correspondent Mutala is the man to trust on this. Away from that, but still within the confines of law, South Dai MP Roxanne Nelson, the Palmer Port, has dragged Honorable Reverend GHOne and Tim Forjo to the High Court over what he describes as defamatory comments made against him on social media. In the writ, the Akwatia is seeking damages, a retraction and an apology of allegations linking him to bribery in the passage of a legislative instrument in Parliament. The defendants, according to the suit, accuse the MP of benefiting from 360,000 cedis paid to a parliamentary committee to influence the approval of an airline. The plaintiff insists these claims are false, reckless, and have damaged his reputation. He is demanding that the apology be published in a national newspaper and on social media within 7 days of judgment. Show the court rule in his favor. These are excerpts of the suit and the writ. The statements of claim that on the 8th of May 2025, the defendant made a post about him on X, formerly known as Twitter. That the B says that in the said post, the following defamatory statements were made of the plaintiff. Honorable Roxanne Nelson, the Palmer MP for South Dai and the majority NDC chief whip in Parliament, was vice chairman to the Committee on Subsidiary Legislation at the time Adubuahene allegedly paid 360,000 to the committee for passing an LI. Is it not fair that a transparent probe is conducted for Honorable Dapalmepo to appear and answer questions to confirm or deny the serious allegation leveled against his committee? When the probe begins, NDC and every other person indicted will take their turns to explain how much of the 49 million Ghana cedis they looted. The probe is necessary and cannot be faded. They should therefore get ready with their responses. So these are excerpts of the post there on social media made by Reverend GHOne and Tim Forjo, the former Deputy Minister for Education. Emotion filled the High Court in Accra as state prosecutors delivered a gruesome opening address to the jury in the trial of Stephen Akyea, accused of murdering 2 teenagers at Abyssinia in the Bono region. Led by Nanama Adinkra, Principal State Attorney, the prosecution recounted the grim discovery of the dismembered body of Stephen Sapon in a refrigerator at the accused house and the lifeless body of his half-brother Louis Agyabeng. The prosecution plans to call 6 witnesses, including relatives, investigators, and a pathologist to build their case. Currently, defense lawyers are presenting their arguments to the jury before Justice Ruby Aita. Our legal affairs correspondent Mutala joins me now with the latest on this particular development. Mutala, good morning, and we do apologize for having to bring you on this particular matter where emotions are quite high in the court. Tell us what is happening now then.
Well, Emmanuel, like you mentioned earlier, it was quite an emotional turn of events at the court when the prosecution was detailed, in fact, was addressing the jury, who are the judges of fact, who will be listening to all the evidence that will come up in respect of this case. And at the end, their verdict is what the court will rely on. In fact, their verdict is binding on the court. If they say the accused person is guilty, the court will have to apply the laws. If they say the accused person is not guilty, then he'll have to be made to walk free. What came out clear is that Richard Akyea is said to have, in fact, dismembered 12-year-old Louis Agyabeng, and also killed Stephen, who is happening to be a half-brother in all of that. So prosecution has detailed the fact that they'll be relying on 6 witnesses, including relatives of the deceased, investigators, and of course the pathologist that examined the body and came out with the findings. What the defense lawyers have been saying to the effect that at the end of their case, they'll be able to detail or prove that allegations being made by the prosecution is not really what it is, and their client will make to walk free. What Justice Ruby Aita has directed is that June 3rd is a day that has been fixed for the trial to commence. And you know that some reforms have been carried out in the jury system here. So once the trial starts, it will be expedited, and the court has, as it were, fixed sometime June 11 to be the day that the prosecution is expected to close their case. But what is clear is that all the parties have addressed the jury here, and the court has fixed June 3rd for the trial to commence by way of prosecution calling the first set of their witnesses.
Mutala, thank you so much for the update. Mutala Inusa is our legal affairs correspondent here at the EIB network. As we do understand that in the Abesim murder, where 2 young boys were killed and their bodies dismembered in the refrigerator of the accused. The trial is set to begin on the 3rd of June at exactly 11 a.m. We'll bring you more details on that particular story when the trial begins. The Ghana Police Service has intensified its crackdown on illegal mining, arresting 208 suspects and retrieving 99 excavators in a nationwide operation aimed at protecting the country's water bodies and natural resources. According to the Ghana Police Service, the anti-Galamsey operations conducted between March and May 2025 targeted hotspots across several regions, with significant recoveries made, particularly in the western region.
Updates by the Ghana Police Service revealed that in major swoops around Samraboy, along the Tano River, Wasadunkwao, and surrounding communities, the police arrested 58 individuals comprising 50 Ghanaians and 8 Chinese nationals, and retrieved 85 excavators and 3 bulldozers. The Western Regional Police Command separately apprehended 19 suspects and seized 3 excavators and 3 pump-action guns. In the Eastern South region, 24 suspects, including 1 Burkinabe national, were arrested with 5 excavators and weapons, including 3 single-barrel guns and 1 pump-action gun retrieved. The Upper West Police also arrested 7 Ghanaians and impounded 11 champagnes and 3 motorbikes. The Western Central Command arrested 85 suspects, including 76 Ghanaians and 9 Chinese, and recovered 11 excavators. The Eastern North Command also arrested 15 suspects, including 1 Chinese national, and retrieved excavator control boards, monitors, and a pistol. In total, the national operation has led to a seizure of 99 excavators, 3 bulldozers, 11 champagnes, 4 pump-action guns, 3 single-barrel guns, 1 pistol, and several vehicles, motorbikes, tricycles, generators, gold detectors, and pumping machines. The Ghana Police Service reiterated its commitment to combating illegal mining and called on the public to support efforts aimed at safeguarding Ghana's environment and natural resources.
Let's still stay on this particular matter and engage lead convener and the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashibbe. Engineer, good morning. Engineer Kenneth Ashibbe, can you hear me?
Good morning. How are you?
I am fine. Yourself?
I am blessed.
We are grateful that you could join us on this broadcast. You, in the whole conversation of Mahama and government, President Mahama and government for 120 days, you scored the government 30% in the fight against illegal mining. Today we are hearing that between March and May, they have seized 899 excavators, arrested 208 people, with some more works to be done in the fight. Does this change your score?
Well, I think this is encouraging. It is encouraging. So it would move the score higher a bit. But, you know, there are other challenges with that. The reason why the score was what it was the fact that, and again, the point has to be made that when I scored the government 30%, I had given the former government negative 60%.
Right.
So you need to put that into perspective. So
yes.
It's an improvement over what we saw. And again, with all of these numbers that we're talking about, there are some structural challenges that need to be dealt with. And so, as we commend government for this and the fact that they need to continue, and we also want to say that government has a solution of tracking excavators. One of the immediate things that have to happen, even if they go to court, and any of these excavator owners should win their cases in court and forfeiture is not ordered by the court, immediately all of these excavators should be tracked. So we are asking that beyond all the work that government is doing, the issues of tracking of excavators, government should fast track that. Then the other thing that you are also talking about is that the Minister for Land held a press conference and talked about Akwata mining. It is sad that ever since the minister did all of that work, I have not seen the Attorney General, I have not seen the police arrest the directors of Akwata mining. So as you commend the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources working together with the IGP and the Minister for Defense for all of this work that have been done, the arrests that have been done, the confiscation that have been done, the question you are asking is what's happening to our politically exposed person? What is the Akwata mining? The arrests have not been made. So those are the challenges that we have with the particular fight. But I think that to a very large extent, this is encouraging. It just has to be stepped up. We need to step up the processes because, unfortunately, the Galamseers, because they have seen that this Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is not bending, those who are hiding are also speeding up their work. And so we also need to make sure that we are dealing with that. Another thing also is that the President, when he gave his evaluation of 120 days, told us that 2 of the forest reserves are still out of the hands of the government. You know, and so what is happening to that as well? That also has to be dealt with. These people who have been arrested, the foreigners who are in there, the Minister for Interior should not be telling us that he will be breaking the law and deporting all of these. These people should also be jailed. So you have that's happening. And then you have the vexed issue of LI 2462 that, the government is still telling us that they would amend instead of revoking as the initial promise was.
Kenneth Ashibbe, we'll leave the conversation here. Thank you so much for speaking to us on this particular matter. He had earlier scored the previous government negative 60 and given this particular government 30%, which he describes as an improvement. And he says, well, more work needs to be done in terms of politically exposed person and how we are dealing with them, especially in the matters relating to Akwata mining and coal, because he believes that is where the problem lies, the politically exposed persons. And still focusing on the Galamsey fight, we do understand and having news now that the DVLA has issued a 2-week ultimatum to persons who have unregistered their excavators in the country. The Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent and Head of Political and Current Affairs, the Akyea, the EIB Network, Ibrahim Umar, joins me now with the details. Ibrahim, this move by the DVLA, give us a background to it. What's inspiring this call?
The conversation you just had, the illegal mining menace, otherwise known as the Galamsey menace. In fact, according to the CEO for DVLA, after a number of excavators were confiscated, 50 of them were sent, chassis numbers of 50 of them were sent to the outfit, I'm talking about DVLA, for verification. out of the 50 of them returned unregistered. And that's what has resulted in the directive that within the next 14 days, if you are the owner of an excavator, not just that, any farming equipment that is powered by motor, reason why you have to have an interface with the DVLA, you are expected to make your way to the nearest DVLA office, have the excavator or the farming equipment registered. If after the 14 days you fail to do that, then you will lose ownership of these excavators or these farming equipment, because the task force led by the police and some other security agencies will be directed to seize on site these excavators. So that's one leg of the conversation. The other one is that there has been a directive that, as a result of the menace that the country is grappling, if you want to import excavators, first of all, you must seek for the express permission of the transport minister. After that permission is given, if the excavators arrive in the country, at the port of entry, the requirement is that DVLA registers them. Whether you are going to sell the excavators or you are going to use them, they must be registered. And so as we speak, that exercise is taking place at the port, and specifically Tema Port, that even today, a list of about 30 excavators have been sent to DVLA, and then there are DVLA officials at the port registering them, and that is the directive. This, according to the CEO, is what the authority can do to assist in the anti-galamsey fight.
Ibrahim Umar, we'll leave the conversation here. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Still on the bulletin, the Chamber of Construction has welcomed the government's decision to lead the execution of the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor Highway Development Project. The 1,028-kilometer highway will link 5 West African countries: Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria. Roads and Highways Minister governs Kwame Agbodza during the official launch of the National Stakeholders and Community Engagement Campaign for project affected communities in Ghana, expressed the government's commitment to completing the project. We'll engage leadership of the Chamber of the Construction Industry shortly, but let's listen to the Roads and Highways Minister.
Imagine when Akwatia Motorway was built. 1965. So we built a road 1965 that is largely still operational before Britain attempted something like that. It tells you our capability if we work together as a people. If we can build a motorway in 1965 before UK built their first London orbital N1 10 years later, imagine what we can do if we work together. I believe it's a challenge to the engineer, the quantity surveyor, and all people in the built environment. An opportunity is coming again where you can showcase what we are capable of doing. And I believe working together, this project can be one of the turning points that we can say, yes, Africa means, or West Africa means, actually doing things that actually unite us.
Let's speak to Chamber of Construction Industries, the Chief Executive Officer, Emmanuel Cherry. Emmanuel, good morning. Hello, Emmanuel Cherry, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Right, good morning. And you have welcomed the decision, and you're even suggesting more lead by government on this project. Why is that so?
Yeah, first of all, I take this opportunity to salute you and to salute your cherished listeners and viewers across the entire country. One thing is we must be sincere to ourselves. To every household, there are good notes and as well as the bad ones as well. So therefore, in the midst of multitude, definitely you will have an element of, what do you call it, the mixed match. So if we are, as an industry, and then there are pockets of some of these related things, it's no news to us. However, as the minister said, what do you call it, the voice I just listened to, I believe there is a challenge to us because we engage in severally over industry issues, and one of these issues has become topical for discussion. So therefore, it is about time for us to look homegrown and then have alternative ways of approaching our developmental agenda accordingly. However, you and I know that those in the corridor of power, they have the mandate because they are our larger clients or major clients, and then with that, then we can also not do much. So where it has gotten to now, we need to look, number one, into our procurement system and see how we normally procure or package our works. Because sometimes you see the work is not properly procured, so they just package it somehow and give it to a particular contractor, go and work. And if you look into it, you realize that technically and then professionally, it doesn't make a professional sense, but you have been asked to go and do it. So what must you do? You also need to go and interpret it accordingly. So, in fact, we know the challenge that's been thrown to us. However, they also have a larger role to play in quest of this as well.
Emmanuel, before I let you go, when it comes to the roads and highways sector, we already have our challenges. Taking on this project as lead, already you've admitted that it will be a challenge for us, but compounding the issues we already face in the sector, can we deal with it? Have your money's been paid even yet?
The challenge we have as an industry is about the financial engineering, which is a challenge to all of us because our financial market is not business friendly, especially to long-term funding projects. And then the UNN know that if you go to the commercial market right now for a facility, the maximum you can get is 6 months. The maximum 6 months. The best you can get is 1 year. You see, and then if you go for such a facility, for such a project, just imagine what exactly will happen. So therefore, if our financial market is a bit robust, as the minister promised us, because we engage and then we are going to engage the governor of Bank of Ghana, at the same time the minister for finance, together with our sector minister, Roads and Highways, so that collectively we need to have a cross-sectorial discussion to have the hands-on control over some of the issues, because anything at all the minister put in place, if the financial market is not right for it, it will come back to the same thing. So with this payment issue, there is a way we can do it that contractors will pay this on price breaking, ask government to some way to pay this particular works, depend upon the approach. We have solutions to this, but as I said, we'll be engaging, we have a tripartite meeting, deal with these issues holistically, and then we pray that the Minister for Finance and then the Governor will accept it and then factor it into the policy.
Emmanuel Sherry, thank you so much for speaking with us. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Construction Industries. It's time now to bring you the latest in our world of business. Mahama has expressed concern over Ghana's low renewable energy contribution, which currently stands at less than 3%, well below the country's 10% target under the Renewable Energy Act. Despite Ghana's abundant sunlight, the country has struggled to translate its solar potential into real gains in the national energy mix. At the just ended Africa CEO Forum in Abidjan, President Mahama disclosed that his administration is working to ramp up investments in solar power, with several licenses already granted to private sector players to accelerate deployment.
We all know we're in transition to green energy, and so we passed the Renewable Energy Act, which stipulates that at least 10% of our energy mix should come from renewable sources. I'm ashamed to say we are under 3% at the moment. I think 2.71% of our total power production is renewable, and it's mainly in the solar space. Ghana has a comparative advantage to produce solar because we have abundant sunlight. Indeed, if we could export sunlight, we would be one of the richest countries in the world. And so increasing our capacity in solar in terms of bigger solar power generation, but not only there, but also household solar, mini-grid solar. I mean, there are many options that we could look at. And so refining it to get the optimum is what we're at the moment. We've given...
Ghana is gearing up to host one of the most anticipated agribusiness events in West Africa, the Ghana Horticulture Expo 2025, set to take place from June 11 to June 13, 2025 at the Accra International Conference Center. With the theme Innovate, Transform, Sustain Driving Growth in Ghana's Horticultural Sector, the Expo is positioned to be a turning point for the country's agricultural and export ambitions. Bringing together local and international stakeholders, the Expo will focus on how innovation, sustainability and investments can transform Ghana's horticultural sector into a key driver of economic growth. The Expo will feature product exhibitions, B2B, that's business-to-business meetings, and expert-led seminars. Participants will include producers, exporters, researchers, investors, policymakers, and representatives from the youth and women-led agribusiness community. Ghana's horticulture industry, known for crops such as mangoes, pineapples, coconuts, yams, and vegetables, has been gaining traction in international markets. We've been joined in studio by Davis Nakoboy, who is the president of the Federation of Association of Ghanaian Exporters. David, good afternoon.
My name is Davis.
Davis, yeah, my apologies, Davis Nakoboy. Right, Kobu.
Yeah.
Thank you for the correction. Now, Davis, one would ask the vision and the goal behind this horticultural expo.
Okay, so thank you very much, and let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers. The essence of this horticulture expo is to be able to rebrand and also promote our horticulture industry. We recently, in our just 2 fairs, we've been able to make deals of close to $300 million. That tells you what the Ghanaian produce stands for, and then the branding and others. But there is also the need for us to make sure that we get other people to invest in it, especially create jobs and also alleviate poverty. And this is the more reason why we are doing this. For us in FAGE, our main objective is to be able to stimulate export through capacity building, B2Bs, arranging of some soft financial loans for our members, and also policy advocacy. And this is exactly why we are trying to make sure we retune and make sure we are on the right track for us to be able to do that. And if you also look at the 24-hour economy and the accelerated export development, it is so important that we encompass all these things to make sure we produce, add value, to then export, to be able to rake in the necessary foreign exchange. Because once we do that, it curtails the constant depreciation of our cedi against major currency, because all we need is to bring in the foreign currency and also to create jobs.
$300 million value from previous events, that looks more like a success story to me.
Yeah, just February we did over $265 million in food logistica, and just last week I just returned from Fruity, Italy. We did close to $100 million.
Wow.
Yeah, deals. Yeah.
It brings to me, I'm wondering the key stakeholders that you are involved in this project with and how they are supporting this expo, given the monetary value of what you're saying, the gains that people are making from the expo.
Yes, so the case currently we have the, like I said, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, because they are supposed to promote all exports. They are one of the key collaborators and partners. We've also got GHOne. GHOne obviously is under government who are also helping. And we also have the likes of Counsel, the Agro Montes, the Agro Cities helping. The good news is the president has committed to come to participate. So that alone is one thing that we're seeing a lot of value added to the fair. Because like I said, to get deals of this, it's one thing of getting deals, the other of be able to close those deals. And again, if we're talking about our 24-hour economy and other things, we need to be competitive. So it's important we get all stakeholders involved, both the private sector and the public sector to work. And don't forget, government has the biggest purse. And until they spend, the private sector can never be viable. So that's the more reason why we bring them in.
Innovation is a central theme for this particular expo. What innovative technologies are we like?
Yes, so years back, people, when you go to the pack houses at least, you see modern packer machines working. We also see ICT working closely. How do you call it? The digital innovations within the agri space, the export space, and the like. When you talk about phytosanitary issues, for instance, now you don't just write. You sit at the comfort of your office, traceability. You just at the click of something, it gets to your buyers and also the post for them to be able to recognize your things are going and also to evaluate it. So there are a lot. We are also giving chances to now currently people use knapsack spraying and we get drones spraying, we get drones mapping our farms, get drones checking the health of our trees, our crops and other things. These are all innovations we are bringing. We bring in academia to also come infusing the experience for us to be able to get a green gold.
Nice. June 11 to June 13.
Of course. Yes.
How do one get to be a participant at this?
Yes. So if you want to be an exhibitor, because we are expecting over 200 exhibitors and over 2,000 trade visitors. So for a trade visitor, you just have to walk in and register there. It's free. If you want to exhibit, then you need to contact somebody at Fitch. I think we'll send the numbers across for you for them to, because I know that we have Atta and other Italians, other European countries coming. So for expats, they are paying $300 for the 3x3 square meter booths. And for our Ghanaians, their Fage members are paying 2,000 Ghana cedis. Non-Fage members are paying 3,000 Ghana cedis.
Davis Nakobo, thank you so much for joining us in the studio, and we wish you the very best at this. We'll be there to support you. Thank you so much. And that does it for the world of business. To some other stories, a bitter power struggle is unfolding in the Akwatia East constituency branch of the NDC. Party executives and grassroots members are turning on their member of parliament, Akyea, accusing her of leadership failures that they claim are tearing the party apart. There is more on the following report.
According to constituency organizer Daniel Techimensa, the Akwatia East MP's decisions have, in his words, virtually destroyed the party, fueling growing frustration among supporters.
Constituency organizer who have led the party to victory, I was sad. Who will speak against them this thing? When does this thing happen? Who allows this thing to go on? Which MP in Ghana is doing this thing in his constituency? Apart from Akyea Oguno, we are saying that the party must speak against it.
At the heart of the tension is a long-running feud between the MP, Akyea, and constituency chairman, Stephen Ajari. Sources say the strained relationship between the two has been simmering for months, but the situation is now boiling over. One of the party's women organizers for the King David area, Hawa Musa, says the MP's leadership style has left many feeling sidelined and unheard.
Now, if the party, which is our head from national, doesn't come out to do anything for ASEC, doesn't change what is happening now in ASEC, it will affect NDC a lot in 2028 campaign. Because there won't be any message to send out. Our regional chairman, what he was supposed to do as a father for this, we didn't see him there. Now branch executives are going through a lot.
Branch chairman Chunibu Akodia is calling on the NDC's national leadership to step in immediately. He warns that failure to address the internal divisions could severely damage the party's chances in future elections.
Papa, you know, Kasua, then you can say, so Kasua, you will attack the door so far. Yet no one was at all. Yet I come back with me. I think that we be every. Then where the position, no affair between the when the position and so free party and the idea, only the million in the bush of free quantity, and this is for the supporters of the youth of the also say, never saw the Amra.
Some party loyalists who also spoke to the news team, they do not hold back in expressing their disappointment with the MP's conduct.
When you came to power, look at the people you are using. You are using people who are alien to the constituency, and we will not watch on for that thing to continue because it will affect the party. And when it affects the party, we, the grassroots, will suffer most. So we are saying to the media, that they should send it to our leadership at the top there, that what our MP.
To matters concerning health, the Takoradi Hospital, a 96-year-old facility formerly known as the European Hospital, is battling deteriorating infrastructure and the absence of an intensive care unit contributing to avoidable deaths. Established in 1929 during the colonial era to serve expatriates and the elite, the hospital now struggles with crumbling structures and lacks critical facilities, as I mentioned earlier, including the ICU. According to Medical Superintendent Dr. George Pepra, the absence of an ICU has resulted in the loss of lives that could have otherwise been saved. He also revealed that every time it rains, almost all departments are affected by leakages due to the original roofing, which has not been renovated in nearly a century. Despite these challenges, Dr. Pepra is hopeful that the completion of several abandoned structures on the hospital premises could significantly improve healthcare delivery.
Fortunately, the whole region, we don't have an ICU. There is no intensive care unit in the whole of Western region. And when you have such cases, you have to refer them to Cape Coast or Accra. And it's always difficult. We had a very bad case, a young lady in her 20s, very bad chest. She also had fluid in the lungs. We passed a tube to let the fluid out, but she was still not improving. The oxygen just kept going down. We had to intubate. We called an anesthetist. He came to pass a tube into the airway so that we could give a lot of oxygen. We back for 3 hours. We called Cape Coast. Unfortunately, we couldn't get their ICU to send the patient. She died. The hospital this year is 96 years old. It's been difficult having to solve this leakages issue, and we think changing the whole roof would be the best.
And that does it for the local stories, the business stories. It's now time to take you to our world of sports. Benjamin Yamwa is in studio with me. And guys,
interesting happenings on the local front in Ghana regarding sports. We'll give you that details after this short turnaround, though. I belong to Jesus. Now, the GFA Steering Committee found the act in breach of its regulations, which prohibits the display of religious or political messages during matches. In a defiant response, though, on his X handle, the player has questioned what he sees as double standards in the sport. And I want to quote him. Why can football players celebrate LGBTQ sexuality but not their love for Christ? He wrote on his X handle, question the fine imposed on him by the GFA. We'll deal with this issue a lot more on The Game today on GHOne TV. Women's football now head coach for the Black Queens, Kim Last Dobgren, is confident his side will be well prepared before the commencement of the upcoming CAF Women's Nations Cup, which will kick off in July. Speaking to the GFA media team after a 9-day training camp in Pram Pram, Kim Last revealed that his team plans to work on improving its attack in the next training camp as part of efforts to strengthen the team for the upcoming championship in July.
It has been great. 9 days, like you said, together to get to know even more players. So they have been great. I mean, many trainings and a couple of games as well. So the good thing when you are together for a long time is that you get to know the people. Also, if someone having a bad football day, it's still going to be a chance tomorrow to do it better. So you can really see the talent players and to get to know them, like I said. So overall, really good. Yeah, I think there have been a few. I would say probably 5, 6 that we will put on the list and look a little bit closer to. Abigail, Nancy, Vasima, for example. But like I said, maybe 2, 3, another 2, 3, I will say.
We'll still say a bit more in women's football. In the weekend ahead of us, a very busy one for Women's FA Cup games. Now, coach of Faith Ladies, Raymond Fenny, is upbeat ahead of the Women's FA Cup final between his side and Jonina Ladies FC. The FA Cup final between Faith Ladies and Jonina FC set to kick off on the May 18 at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium this weekend. That is, so we can have a showdown. The coach stated that his team is going to win the trophy. He has urged football fans to troop to the stadium to watch the beautiful game and support his team for victory.
Taking this opportunity to invite Ghanaians to come to the Legon, that is Legon Sports Stadium, where we are playing the finals of the FA Cup against Jonina. It is going to be an exciting game. So I wish everybody will be there to come and watch a very beautiful football. And at the end of the day, Faith Ladies, we are sure of the victory.
Well, will Faith win? But meanwhile, coach of Jonina Ladies is confident his team, Jonina, will surprise Faith Ladies to claim the ultimate on Sunday.
I urge each and everyone to come and witness Women FA Cup final, Jonina Ladies against Faith Ladies on the 18th of May at Legon Sports Complex. Vamos Jonina, bring back the love. Vamos Jonina, peace.
Will it be a Vamos Jonina or Vamos Faith Ladies Sunday? We'll find out for the final. Should wait for us. Back to you, Ima, for the rest of the bulletin.
Indeed, we have more on the entertainment zone to stay with us. On his own, the King's Film Festival has officially banned nudity on the red carpet, dealing a major blow to the growing trend of naked dresses, gowns designed to give the illusion of full exposure through sheer fabrics like chiffon and lace. According to an updated dress code posted just 24 hours before this year's grand opening on Tuesday, the festival organizers stated that nudity is prohibited on the red carpets as well as in any other area of the festival. The move, which is said to be for decency reasons, is expected to directly affect celebrity wardrobe choices, many of which in recent years have leaned heavily into bold, skin-revealing styles that dominate headlines and fashion columns alike. Time to bring you the latest on international news. Prepare. On the international front, at least 48 Palestinians have been killed in a series of Israeli airstrikes in northern Gaza overnight, according to local hospital. The Indonesian hospital reported 22 children and 15 women were among the dead after a number of homes in Jabalia town and refugee camp were hit. A video shared online appeared to show at least a dozen bodies on the floor there. The Israeli military said it was looking into the reports. It had warned residents of Jabalia and neighboring areas to evacuate on Tuesday night after a Palestinian armed group launched rockets into Israel. It came as the UN's humanitarian affairs chief urged members of the UN Security Council to take action to prevent genocide in Gaza. And that does it for our 60 minutes broadcast here on Newsroom. On behalf of the entire production team led by Mrs. Alison, we say thank you for watching.